All right, so we want to look at the set of points or the line that would be made from the set of points -1, 7. Let me get here. So point 1, -1, 7, -7, and point 2, -3, -2. I think that gets us, yep. And so we want the equation of the line that connects these. So one of the first things to do is get an idea of the space you're going to be working in. So it's not a bad idea to make a rough graph. It doesn't need to be an exact graph with graph paper. We just need an idea of what the points are. So -1, -7, it's about here. So that'll be point 1. And -3, -2, is about there. All right. And so the equation of a line that connects those 2 points is going to have that general shape, right? So I didn't use graph paper. I didn't get anything exact here. I just am looking at this in a rough sketch. Right? This is close enough to get the information I need. So first, it's a descending line. So when we do this, our slope should be less than 0. Our slope should be some negative number. And our y-intercept is less than this y point. So our b should be less than -7. Those are things that we can see by doing this rough sketch of the graph, and they can help us get there. Now, to get our graph, well, let's start with, or to get our equation of the line, let's start with finding our slope. And so our slope is the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over the run. And that's the difference between the 2 y values over the difference between the 2 x values. And in our case, y2 is -2 minus -7 for y1, and -3 minus -1. So -2 minus -7 is +5. And -3 minus -1 is -2. And so our slope is -5/2. Well, that's okay. That matches what we expected here, right? -5/2 is less than 0. So that's good. Oops, make my half actually look like a half. -5/2. All right, so -5/2 is less than 0, so that matched our expectation. All right, now we want to find the rest of the equation of our line. So we'll use our point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Now I'm going to choose point 1. I can pick either point. But I'm going to choose point 1 because my x value is going to be multiplied here, and a 1 is a nicer number to multiply because I'm definitely multiplying by a fraction. So let's place in the values I have. I have y minus -7 equals -5/2 times x minus -1. All right, I'm going to scroll down here, get this up here. So this is y plus 7 equals -5/2 times x plus 1. This is y plus 7 equals -5/2 x minus 5/2. And I'm going to subtract 7 from each side. But I'm going to subtract 7. So if I subtract 7 from this side, it goes away. But I'm going to do it in its fractional form. And so 7 as a fraction of 2 is 14/2. Or our equation of the line is -5/2 x minus -5 and -14, -19/2. Well, where is -19/2? That's 9.5, right? And so that matched our expectation too. Our y-intercept worked. And so we used a combination of finding our slope and our point slope formula to find our equation for our line. But with a rudimentary graph, we can double check to make sure our work is at least in the right area. and that we're approaching the right things.